Welcome back to our Owls Walk. Well, this slow start is now turning into a bit of a crisis. But who do the fans blame? Recruitment or Rohl? Well, we've got some amazing Owls to give their opinions on what is going wrong for Sheffield Wednesday. Welcome to the fastest and most comprehensive review of all Owl stuff. It's where Owls Walk. Welcome back, Glyn, Matt, and Andrew. I can sense the mood in here is a little bit sour, so we'll try and keep it as light as we possibly can. I'm going to come out and ask you the question, is it recruitment or Rohl or something else? But before that, in the comments below, we want you to grade Sheffield Wednesday's transfer window dealings this summer. Give it a score out of 1 and 10, and these three are going to be asked that same question in a minute after we've looked at finances and the football aspect of it. Glyn will get stuck into the Millwall result in a minute, but in a word, what's going wrong for you at the moment? Is it been the recruitment, or is it what's being done on the training ground?
If you look at the recruitment, and I know we're going to come on to it pretty soon, but you can only work with what you've got. And again, we'll discuss that when we kind of come on to it. But I think it's a little bit it's an addition of a lot of things, if you like, and again we'll discuss it when we come on to talking about the result and stuff. But if I'm honest, yeah, it's disappointing. The result was disappointing, but I'm not too concerned, as daft as that sounds. There's work to do. There's certainly work to do, but we're not fighting for our lives as we were last season, and I think that's where we need to the team certainly need to have the mindset to, I feel as though we've got plenty of time, and I don't think so much is going wrong. I just think we certainly need to alter a few things. The recruitment is what it is. We've got the players in now. We are where we are in the terms of the team and stuff. So. I never point the finger at anybody unless it's deserved. Cisco Munoz, for instance, Darren Moore, for instance, Gary Monk, for instance. I'm not one for jumping on the bandwagon and calling a manager out after 3 games or the process after 3 games. It's not how anybody should work. You're not a fan if you're doing that online, face to face, you're not a fan. Define the word fan. Look in the dictionary. You're certainly not a fan. So, as it is, I'm not concerned. I'm just disappointed.
You'll see some so-called fans in a second, and we get to rate my take. Let's have a look at the financial aspect of it, Matt, if that's okay. Okay, Matt, so if we have a look then at the clubs 1 to 24 in terms of their spending, you can see, obviously, Burnley and Leeds at the top there. 18th out of 24. There's only the promoted sides in Watford and Preston that Wednesday have outspent. 4 million spent, 400,000 euros recouped. All right, I'm going to do Bill Dennis advocate for the size of Wednesday's club. The attendances, everything that goes with being Sheffield Wednesday, that's a meagerly spend, isn't it, in the Championship?
Yeah, boy, is it. I think exactly what you've just stated there, Mark. The teams who have spent less than us are the newly promoted sides, and Watford and Preston, who are the most perennial of mid-table clubs in the Championship that there are going over the past number of years. You were talking with Glyn earlier, obviously, about who's to blame. I'll point the finger of blame firmly at our chairman. I have been doing so consistently and will continue to do so. We are a Championship club in name. We are a Championship club in terms of attendances, in terms of stadium, all the rest of it. We are operating with a League One financial package. The biggest worry for me is we don't sell players, and we never have done. Since the chairman has come in, we assign a player and they are ours to hold forevermore and never let go. And we don't ever look to do any level of recruitment. And that was fine when the chairman was flush with cash and convincing that he was just going to keep on pumping money in forever. But for 6 years, this is the first time that we've actually spent anything substantial. And by substantial, you have to parlance that with Sheffield Wednesday substantial, because Sheffield Wednesday substantial is going out and paying 2.5 million for a championship striker or a championship player. That is what we now class as substantial. And as fans, we are told that we should be incredibly and internally grateful and thankful and to put up and shut up. The other money I'm fairly sure has been spent on Jan Valery coming in, who has Premier League experience with Southampton, but we've plucked from France from a contracts perspective, and the other one is a relatively nominal fee paid to a Polish second division side, which we've decided to spread out over a number of years in Olaf Kabaki. We are operating on a threadbare budget and have been for some time. Now, I could buy the argument when the chairman had made mistakes and we were operating under financial fair play restrictions, even though it's his own fault because he wouldn't listen to anything that anybody was saying. We are now not operating under those type of circumstances, and anybody with half a brain could see that this squad needed at least £10 million invested to make us that progressive mid-table, upper mid-table side, which is what the manager was aiming for at the start of the season. Now, that's being really clear. That's an aim of what he's going for. This currently, in terms of what you've got up on the screen there of those player arrivals, this reads like a club who is operating under some sort of transfer embargo and flying way too close to the wind of financial fair play, which is exactly what is happening. Yeah. But we will never be told that as fans, because our chairman it has now got a serial vendetta against every Sheffield Wednesday fan. It's just, simply put, it's a 20th to 18th in the championship budget, and that's currently where we find ourselves.
So, Andrew, thanks for that. The results then aren't surprising then to Wednesday fans, I'd imagine, that when you trot up to Millwall and put out a midfield that's not been invested in, a back four that's not been invested in. Non-Wednesday fans looking at those results going, crikey, what's happened to Wednesday? But this is no surprise to you, I'm guessing.
Well, it is to me. Very much so. First of all, I'll just want to correct Matt on something. I did agree with Matt's comments about Chansiri. He's certainly, you have to point the finger at Chansiri. But having said that, at one stage, he wasn't prepared to spend any money on us. He was getting fed up with the boo boys putting the boot into him. And he said, I'm not spending a single penny further on Wednesday. Now, at least we've come out away from that sort of situation. And Danny Rohl, has got some respect from him at least. And he is they are trying to work together. But what I would correct Matt on is, please, Sheffield Wednesday are not a championship club. Yes, we have a championship. No, wait, let me finish, please. We historically, and we are still 15th in the all-time Football League table of the top league, considering we have not added a single point to that tally since the year 2000. We still lie 15th in the placings in this Football League of the history of this country, as it were. Wednesday are a championship club, a Premiership club rather, who have had a championship and a League One team for the last 25 years. We do not belong in lower status than Premier League. We are a Premier League club, and we are also in the top 12 clubs of trophies won in the history of the game as well. So there's things we mustn't forget about where Wednesday is concerned. I know we've been suffering for the last 25 years, and the present generation are growing up thinking, Wednesday, be grateful we're in the championship at least not in League One anymore. To us older, diehard fans who've been there since the 60s and know what Wednesday were all about from then, we are still going to be talking about Wednesday as they were. Yeah, we might be old granddads and the people saying, hark back to the old days, but that's what Sheffield Wednesday are all about as a club. We are, as a club, should be up there. Now, I put the kiss of death on us this week. I was really frustrated to lose at Millwall. 3 successive defeats. Hadn't happened since November. It's happened now. But we don't blame the manager. Do not get those boo boys out there putting the boot into Danny Rohl, because thanks to him, I called him Houdini last year. He saved us. We stayed up. The mystery for me is the same 4 teams we played against last season, the corresponding fixtures. We won 3 of those games. We got 9 points. And our players are very similar. We've had improvements, we thought, to the players who turned up in those games last season against Sunderland, Leeds, Millwall and Plymouth. So 9 points. This time we've only got 3 points. Okay, we're chasing our tails a bit now. We need to sort of wake up. Well, at least we came back from a 1-0 deficit during the week at Grimsby and won 5-1 there in the League Cup. So obviously the kick up the backside at half time. I thought on Saturday against Millwall, it was 0-0. It could still go either way. Schoolgirl defending in the second half cost us. We end up with no points.
We'll get into the game in a minute, Andrew. Let me just finish, if that's okay, on the transfer window.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's okay. So I want to look at departures as well. Pick up on points, which I think Matt was saying, look at all these free transfers. Look at the ages. Where are the academy players coming through the Wednesday system being sold for big money? Why is it that if we look at that, if we look at the balances sheet for a second here, we look here at the top here. You are the 5th worst club in terms of balances for spend overall this summer. I mean, not many. Half the teams are in the red, half the team, but it's only 3 million or 3 million euros. But even so, 400k for a team of Wednesday's size. Surely questions have to be asked. Why aren't Wednesday able to sell players for big value? Glyn, do you have an answer to it?
If I'm honest, I feel as though we're picking the pieces up from historically bad chairmanship. You know, bad management. I still feel as though we're paying your kind of Di Canios and your Carbonis. If I'm honest, we like Matt just said, we have a history of not buying players, keeping them forever, and not selling them on. We spoke last week about Bambo is the first player that we've actually made money on, and the majority of that graph that you just shown is probably the money from Bambo himself. So, this is kind of Danny's first transfer window, isn't it? You know, and like I said before, he can only work with what he's got. I agree with Matt with what he's said completely. We keep hearing we're a massive club and blah blah blah. Historically, Andrew, I agree. But for the here and now, we're definitely not. You know, we are championship at best, and that goes. You know, with the transfers, with the money spent, with the ingoings and outgoings of the players. Some of the players that are on that list, I'd quite happily like to have seen them stay. You know, like we said last week about Bambo, but I think here and now, Danny's way of working, and I know I know one of the players from kind of the under 18s, and the message that Danny's sending through the academy, that you know the way that all the style of play, everything that goes on in the first team runs right through the club, which is great to hear and great to see, but that's going to take time for that to come through. So for the year and now, again, we can't do anything. I think Chansiri has been once bitten and twice shy. I think we've been stung with the points deduction, the financial fair play charges, the points deductions, the charges, you know, all the things that come with overspending. And I think he's gone on the back foot. I think he's honestly afraid to invest to the level that he did when Carlos was here, in the fear of being bitten twice, you know, and yeah, we are where we are in terms of spending and transfers.
Okay, thanks for that, all of you. I think I've heard loud and clear that it's recruitment that you blame. Let's get a score from out of 10 from all of you then. Out of 10, how do you rate this transfer window? And in the comments, if you can do the same. Matt?
With the funds that have been made available to the manager, a 6, because I don't think that the funds have been there. Could we have gone out and potentially made plays for more impactful players such as Dembele at QPR? Yeah, I think we could have gone harder there. Could we have gone harder for a player that I will continue to champion on here who made a huge difference to us in terms of Poveda last season? Yeah, but I think a 6 is fair from everybody. That's not a criticism of the manager, by the way. That's a criticism of the targets that he's highlighted and the failings of the club to go out and get them.
Andrew, any higher than a 6?
Well, I think it's a bit early still to score it, to be fair, because we've still got to give these guys a chance to see what they can do. You know, obviously, I think Danny Rohl was very frustrated on Saturday, especially. I think that it made the substitution after the first goal went in. He made more substitutions after the second goal went in. You know, it was like we're chasing the game. You know, these guys have got to deliver. So yeah, probably floating between 6 and 7. But we've got to give them more time. Give them time.
Good.
Definitely an 11. Obviously, no, I'm with Matt. Between 5 and 6, we're we are where we are. Yeah, we'd like to see the superstars coming through the door, wouldn't we? Likes of Forestieri, for instance. These guys that light up the cop. But we are where we are. Yeah, middle of the road. But I'm happy with the guys that Danny's brought in with the money that he's been allowed to spend.
Okay. Sorry for sniggering, Glenn. This sounds like there's a frog in the background there.
It must be this
croaking along with you. Right. I dared show you this. I might even skip it, so we might just get your blood boiling. Let's do it anyway. Let's show you some anti-Danny Rohl fans from this week.
Bring him on.
This really isn't good enough, says Nick. I know we have a lot of new players that need to gel. We cannot be losing 3 league games in a row. Danny has a way he wants to play, fine. But you have to have a plan B for when it doesn't work. Just get the basic right while it gels. Ross says that was awful, extremely worrying. Scares me how we never win a header off a corner. Scares me how our goalkeeper walks the ball out slowly and then we pass it back to him for 3 minutes and then lose it. Scares me that we cannot create a single good chance. And Charlie said, change it, Danny. Expecting to go to Millwall away and control the game is stupid. Absolutely stupid. Awful tactical decisions again. Same with Sunderland and Leeds. It's okay, Danny will come out and say, just trust the process after the 3rd league game in a row where we've been absolutely pathetic. Cisco ball today, someone said. Was it that bad, Andrew? Was it Cisco ball at Millwall?
No, of course not. First of all, I don't know what game these people are watching. Okay, in the end, they had 4 shooting chances. They scored 3 goals, schoolgirl errors. Possession-wise, we had 60% of the ball. They only had 40%. The way they're going, when you make you think that they had 80% of the ball, we only had 20%. They're the home team, and we got more possession than they have. At the end of the day, it's all very well to start putting the boot into Danny Rohl, but Danny Rohl is the reason why we are not in League One this season. He's the reason why we are in the Championship this season. And he's got to be given time to prove what he can do for us again this season in the Championship. It's only 3 games, 4 games old, for gosh sakes. Stop panicking. Wake up and smell the coffee and give the guy a chance to try and get his players organised, working together as a unit and delivering the results we all want to see. They're not going to happen overnight, automatically every time. Just because we have a couple of defeats, it's not the end of the world. Okay, if we're bottom the same way we're Cisco style come near Christmas, then I can understand people getting irate. But 4 matches, and we're still in the League Cup. Come on.
All right, well, after the international break, it's the battle of the Houdinis, because whilst Danny Rohl was one Houdini, there was another Houdini operating in West London, and that's your next opponents. Let's chat to Jawad, who is our QPR fan. How are you, Jawad? You must be happy listening to all this.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting because I think the managers clearly did amazing jobs last season, and I would say Marty's had a bit more kind of support in the transfer market. I think he's quite a stubborn character, and he said on Friday that he kind of had to put his foot down a bit to get what he wanted, and I think that's why deals weren't done early on, and we had to wait till the final couple of weeks. But it does seem like he's been backed with a bit of a happier camp maybe than Wednesday at the moment.
The rumours are, Jared, that QPR are playing with some decent new wingers that are looking good. And whilst Chair is still not available, your style of play has changed. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think what they've shown in the 2 away games, especially, is the character to come from behind at Bramble Lane and.
Sorry,
and
mate.
Luton.
What's that like?
Yeah. amazing. But I think that character is a really, really important thing, because for the last however many years that character has been lacking so badly. We even saw it last season in the Sheffield Wednesday games. Really, the away game we were 1-0 up going into the last 10 minutes, lost 2-1. The home game, we couldn't cope with the intensity that Wednesday played at, but that character seems to have evolved. We've got pacey wingers. We look a bit more physically strong, although it's interesting to hear what you say about winning headers from set pieces, because we're still dreadful at defending them. So yeah, it's good, but there's still a lot to work on.
Matt, you did the double over QPR last year. This is a must-win, isn't it? Are we at that point yet where this is a must-win?
I think it's a statement game that I don't think any game at this point of the season is a must-win game, but it is a statement game for sure because I mean, we were, again, Andrew, I applaud you for being so positive. We've lost 9-0 on aggregate and had less than 1 XG over the course of all of those games. You can have all of the possession, knocking it about back four all you want. The minute we try and play the ball forward, we are fresh out of ideas at the minute. And for me, there does have to be some change to the setup and the system. I don't think it's a must win, but I do think that there needs to be a reaction from playing staff and coaching staff. I think the most telling thing after our game on Saturday was the manager said that we need to wake up. It felt like everybody has started to believe their own hype and source surrounding. There was a lot of, QPR and ourselves were really similar last year. Actually, QPR obviously finished higher than ourselves last year. And actually, it felt like that there was a lot more national media attention on ourselves than there was, say, for argument's sake, QPR. Now, that might be down to his club size, whatever. But actually, QPR's squad was in a better position than ours. It's also had and been backed with some investment. I would suggest that this is a far more important game for Wednesday than QPR. And it will be I'm dreading the atmosphere after 20 minutes if it is 0-0. On that Saturday at Hillsborough, because I mean, I've been at Millwall on the weekend. It was a horrible away end to be in on Saturday. It wasn't nice. It was not friendly. There were people leaving after the second goal went in because simply at the moment, if QPR score first, that's it. We might as well pack up and go home because there doesn't seem at the moment the capability in the fight that was there last season that you mentioned, Jared, in terms of the away performance that we put in at QPR. I thought was one of our best of the season. Yeah. I mean, it was a really battling, gritty performance, which was different to the one that we had seen in the run-in up until that point. At present, I think there are a lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans scratching their head as to whether that performance is actually in this squad at the minute.
Do you think? Club. So I know all about QPR, lifelong. I lived in that area, so I do know you very well. I used to go in the players' lounge there a lot because a friend of mine used to work there. What I'm saying to you is that Wednesday, at the end of the day, we are not to be written off immediately on what we're doing so far. Our fans should not be so fickle to jump down Danny Rohl's throat straight away. And last season, we finished the strongest, best results in that league with 4 wins and 2 draws from our last 6 games. So we actually had a better finish than QPR. I agree QPR finished above us in the table, but we finished the strongest side at the end of the season. And it's frustrating with the way we bashed Plymouth first game 4-0, and there's been nothing of that happening to Plymouth ever since that match with us, that we've not built on that in the league, even though we've had 2 decent results in the League Cup. So, okay, this is a big game. It's not the end of the world. I'm hoping for a win, but I'm not going to start bashing Danny Rohl if we don't beat QPR. That's for sure.
Do you think both managers last season came in knowing that they had to kind of adapt their personal style of play to the situation, and maybe Wednesday 100%. Have tried to, maybe Wednesday have tried to, or the managers tried to go too quickly this season into implementing his style? 100%. I think Marty clearly wants to play it in a certain way, but there's still aspects where the first goal against Luton, it was a long ball up to a big target man who won the battle. And again, I don't think ideally that's how Marty wants his centre backs or right back to play, but he's kind of adapting to the league and not maybe being as stubborn as Wednesday. I don't know.
When you're fighting for your life, there's a certain style that you have to play, and that's what we're getting at earlier on. Last season, we were going nowhere through the trapdoor. That's where we were going. So, Dan is trying to instill his way of working as is QPR's manager, and let's see where we are in a couple of weeks.
I do suspect these 2 managers will be a Premier League battle at some point, whether it's with Wednesday or with QPR. But I do think they are that good. These are Corbran's 2 of the best managers in the league, and I won't have league positions or any fans on Twitter say anything different. Time for some predictions then. Who should we get to? Glenn, you can have it. You and your frog can predict this one.
I'm gonna say 2-1. Total change 2-1.
Okay. Jared,
we could have done with the game this this weekend, to be honest with
You
you.
could, couldn't you?
After,
Yeah.
after last week, I think the break will work in Wednesday's favour. I'll go 1-1.
Splinters.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Joward. We'll see
No
you
problem.
on the reverse fixture later on in the year. Thank you very much. And for you four, enjoy the international break when it comes. We'll catch you on the other side of the QPR game. And when we come back, we'll be asking you for your favourite, or your worst away memory of supporting Sheffield Wednesday. So get thinking on that one. And we'll also ask you back on reviewing the positions. We're looking at left backs and right backs. Thank you for all your work over the last 4 weeks. Enjoy the rest from talking about Sheffield Wednesday next week. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget, if you haven't yet subscribed, please press the subscribe button, press the like button. Do follow Matt and Glyn on X. Incredibly entertaining stuff. Follow Andrew on Facebook as well. I'm sure you type in his name, you find it, and listen to any Radio 5 phone in, and he'll be there, I'm sure, giving Nicky Campbell grief. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you shortly after the break.